President Obama making some major last-minute moves, including an announcement yesterday that ends a decades-old wet foot, dry foot policy that allowed most Cuban migrants here who reach U.S. soil to ultimately become legal permanent residents here. Now, the shift sparking some praise, but for the most part, pushback from both sides of the aisle and potentially putting President-elect Donald Trump in a bind. Here to discuss that and some other topics, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Colonel West, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Charles. How are you?
Good, good. You understand Florida politics as well as anyone else, and you also understand what's going on in Cuba. To me, this seems like some kind of crazy appeasement to this Castro regime on top of all the other things that we've seen from Barack Obama.
Well, you're absolutely right. And when you consider that here we are again 1 week away from a new presidential administration, and just the same as the UN resolution that was against Israel, where the Obama administration decided to abstain, 2334, we continue to have detainees released from Guantanamo Bay. And now you have this unilateral decision that was made by President Obama. Where was the consult with Senator Menendez or Senator Rubio, Senator Cruz, Representative Eliana Ross-Layton, or Representative Carlos Corbello, who are all understand the Cuban issue? But what President Obama has basically done is given sanction to a regime that is violating human rights left and right, and it's gotten even worse since we quote-unquote normalized relations with Cuba. And now we're telling the Cuban citizens that you are relegated to living under this very dictatorial, tyrannical regime, and you're not going to be able to find any quest for liberty and freedom here in the United States of America.
You know, recently we've seen a spike, in fact, of Cubans making their way to America, and maybe they had a sense that this was going to happen, and it feels interesting because as you were talking, I'm thinking about maybe this is the same kind of global bowing tour that he started his administration off going around the world more or less apologizing for America's greatness, and maybe this is the same thing, a sort of de facto exit the way he came in.
Well, you have a good point there, because why would we sanction a communist regime that is truly one of the major violators of human rights with allowing them to continue to, repress their people there and taking away the opportunity they have to get away? Now, there are some people that would say that the dry foot, wet foot program was imbalanced and it gave special privilege to the people coming from Cuba, but this is still a communist regime. This is not something where we have taken a high ground, and Raul Castro has done nothing to meet us, not even 1/3 of the way. And when you go back and you remember the pictures of President Obama standing in front of the mural of Che Guevara, I mean, that's not how we want to remember President Obama and our relations with Cuba.
One thing that struck me this morning, I wanted your opinion on it. I saw a tweet, I think it was from the Daily Mail, of a potential bomb going off at one of these, at a resort town in France. Turns out maybe some sort of loud noise, but the panic out there, and it made me think that we've entered a not-so-brave new world. What do you make of that? Because part of terrorism is to scare us or to make us change our lifestyle, and it feels like they're chipping away at that.
No, you're absolutely right, because there is no such thing as a battlefield. This battlefield is everywhere. And when you look at Marseille, France, the people are believing there was a French jet, the military jet, it was a sonic boom. But over the past, I'd say 3 to 4 years, the population in Marseille, France, has become 30 to 40% Muslim. And the very disconcerting thing about it is by 2015, they were estimating about 1,000 French Muslims had left Marseille to go fight the jihad there in the Middle East. And we know that they have an instance of terrorist attacks. There was a Jewish teacher that was stabbed there in 2015. And many of these individuals are coming over from North Africa. So this, again, shows that concern that you have in Europe with these unsecure borders and this open immigration policy that they have.
Colonel West, before I let you go, Donald Trump, his relationship with the intelligence community, I mean, the whole thing is in tatters. How do you see it playing out?
Well, I think the most important thing is we must understand those operatives, those men and women that are busting their tails to keep us safe. They're out there trying to do the right thing. But we know that there are some issues about reports being changed when it got up to the higher levels. We got to make sure that we have the people in the head positions in the intelligence community that are focused on one thing, telling the truth to our leaders, telling the truth to the American people, and not manipulating and politicizing intelligence information.
Depoliticizing these agencies, I guess, is going to be something of a tall order, because they've really seemed like they've lost their way. But to your point, we should never forget about the people doing the work, the hard work on the ground, because they are true patriots, and you're a true patriot as well. I appreciate you taking up the time.